our first show, preparing a live stream meeting, Zoom to YouTube. Oh, sit. All right, let's just chill right now. Somehow I need to learn. I need to learn how to edit this out. Oh. Hence why we need that backdrop.
Hmm.
I said, hence why I need that backdrop right there in that window.
Oh, yeah.
Oops.
It's okay.
That's a delay.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty cool. Oh, it is in Trey Show 9. Where is the... Oh, no, it's in ours. Oh, look at that. All right. We are learning as we go. We are definitely learning as we go. But welcome to the... What is this?
Trey Show Night.
Hey, Trey Show 9.
Yay.
Try to put it on the spot.
Put me on the spot.
On the spot. Yes, that is where you belong. On the spot. Oh, wait. Let's turn that down. That's interesting. I wonder how that's going to play out. Okay. Anyway, so this is our first launch. This is our first podcast live like this or in video form. And we, we're just testing the waters out. I tend to get the sniffles every time I do this. Honestly, it's weird. I'm not nervous. I'm just this whole setup I haven't done before, and so with this live thing here, because I'm seeing double of me on YouTube, which is it's live on YouTube right now. One person's
Don't
watching.
Look at yourself.
That's crazy, huh?
Don't look at yourself. There. No,
Okay,
you can't
thank
see
you.
yourself.
That's pretty cool. I wonder who's watching. I didn't intend
Hi,
anybody to
whoever
watch.
it is.
Yeah, we can't see you, so you're welcome. So what we wanted to do on this particular podcast is really just kind of talk about how we met and go from there. But before we do, a little bit about the relationship experience. I started this podcast really a year ago or more than a year ago on Apple Podcast and whatnot. And it was just like through audio. And then I always wanted to do television or get it on live, didn't know how to do it. And now finally pull the trigger. Bam. Bop. Here we are. Let's get it.
Get it. What?
Tamara's like, what is going on? Like,
I don't
what?
know.
She doesn't know.
He is
I don't know.
the brains behind this. I am just here to look pretty.
Wow. Okay. That's what I'm talking about. Okay. Um, so we really want to, I wanted to express how I was experiencing the relationship, how I was, viewing the relationship and some of the wins that we've experienced, some of the losses too, and just some of the things that were challenging in this. So we are definitely not knowledgeable of every single relationship. We think that, or at least I think that relationships are, you can create whatever you want, in your relationship. So for the most part, I mean, they look similar. There's usually like you're either in a relationship with yourself or with somebody else, like whether it's romantic or business or friendship or family of the sort. So we're here to learn, grow, heal, and inspire. And when I say learn, it really should say mistake. mistakes. All the mistakes that I've made. That's what we're learning from. All the mistakes that we've made in our relationship. That's what we're learning, and then we heal from that because we've committed ourselves to this relationship, and then we want to grow, and then we want to inspire. So hopefully somebody gets inspired from our lives. My nose. So yeah, so that's the relationship experience, and really I wanted to take just this time to be able to explain to everybody how we met and what was that like, and we'll kind of end it on that, and then maybe we'll end it on some tips and tricks at the very end of some things that work for us when it comes to how we deal with each other, and our lifestyle, and we have 4 kids and stuff like that. So we'll go from how we met, and then we'll kind of talk about current today. So
Cool.
I think that I want to hear from you and how you view our meetup and how we met.
Okay.
Well, set the stage. What were we doing?
Set the scene.
You don't need the microphone if you don't
This?
need the headset if you.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't really think you need it.
Okay.
Because we're good on.
Cool.
On that.
So I guess I was I don't know, how old was I? 17, somewhere around there. 17, 18, something like that. Okay, so I have always wanted to be married. Always wanted to be married. Always wanted to have kids. Like since I was 5, that's what I wanted to do. So, at 17, I was kind of like, okay, I'm ready to start like seriously dating people. Like, trying to find someone who would be, suitable for marriage. Not right then and there, but I was definitely in the market for that. So didn't really want to say all that, but anyways, we're gonna just keep going. So, the first day I met you, the first time I ever met Mark was we were working for the city of Mountain View, and we had to work teen center, and which was just like a house where the teens, middle schoolers could come and hang out, and we would have snacks, and just he was DJing, and so it was me and another girl working, watching the kids, and then he was DJing. So the first time I met him, I pulled up. My mom drove me there, and he was there unpacking his stuff and his DJ stuff, and I noticed him, which for me is a big thing because I've never been, although I've always wanted to be married and all that, blah, blah, blah. I was never really guy crazy. Like, oh, he's cute. Oh, he's cute. Like, it never really registered on my radar. But he stood out to me, and I was like, oh, he's cute. Like, who's he? I'd never met him. And this would be the first time I would be working with him and meeting him and whatnot. So I don't think we communicated a lot that evening.
No, I don't think so either.
Yeah, because he was doing his thing, and we were doing our things with the kids, and he was busy doing his DJing thing, and yeah. So
I was trying to look cool. I think that I did notice you, obviously, and I thought I was super cool as a DJ. I was just like,
he was super cool as a DJ.
Yeah. I thought so. At least at the time, I thought so.
Yeah, I had the hot DJ. I mean, you fit the bill. It's good.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
So from there, I think it was, we worked together. We were coworkers, so we saw each other a lot, just through work. We'd see each other in the office. We'd be in meetings together. Yeah. And after that teen center, I started working with the teens more often because I was just coming into the age of being able to work with the teens because I was a teen myself at that time.
Yeah, you had to be
So
18 or something like that.
yeah, I think so. You had to be 18 to work with the teens, and so I was just coming into that age. So then at that time, the teens and the elementary kid people workers didn't really do stuff together. And so so we weren't really together, like we didn't really cross paths until I started working more with the teens. And then City Mountain View changed all their stuff, and they just kind of brought all the leaders together, and then we saw each other all the time. So I think we just started building a friendship as coworkers, as we did with all our other coworkers. And then I guess then our relationship, and you had a girlfriend at the time. You were still with Josie.
I was?
You were. That for me was like, oh, okay, he has a girlfriend, so he's kind of off limits, but I'll just keep my eye on him. But
Wow. You hear that? Okay, that's how it goes. Why don't I remember that?
Yeah.
I had a girlfriend.
Yeah, you were still with Josie then.
Okay, it must have been the ending.
When we first met.
Oh, okay.
When we first met, but by the time like you had asked me to the movies and all that, you were already done with Josie.
Yeah, I was like, that ended.
No, but
crazily.
Because from the time I met you that day and the time that we were at the senior center, that was like a good few months.
Oh, right. Okay, I do remember that. I do remember that. Yes. Okay.
Yeah. So the senior center. Fast forward to the senior center a few months later. We were all hanging out at the senior center because all the leaders just kind of hung out after work and stuff, and so we were all hanging out there while our coworkers closed up the senior center and whatnot. And we're just hanging out. And Mark came up to me and he was like, "So, who's Tamra?" I was like, kind of like, "Oh, hi." Like, okay, you're gonna talk to me now. Okay.
Just jump right into it.
Yeah.
Boom.
So, yeah, and so
that's my MO right there all the time.
Yeah. At that point in my life, I was like full on into my Christian college group, and I was like all for Jesus, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna talk about Jesus more, and da da da. So in my head, because I was freaked out that you were talking to me, I was like, okay, so I'm gonna tell him that I love Jesus, and that he's gonna be like freaked out, and he's gonna be like, okay, I'm gonna leave that girl alone. So I was like, well, I'm part of this college Christian group, and I hang out with them like all the time, and I love Jesus, and I go to church all the time, and da da da. And your response was, "Cool, me too." And I was like, "Oh, okay, that didn't work out the way I thought it was going to."
Wow, that's funny.
Yeah. And so I think in that conversation, you'd asked me to go to the movies sometime, and I was like, yeah, cool, that sounds good. Do you want to jump in and say your part? You wanted me to keep going?
Was this the drive-in movie?
Yeah. But this was just you asking me first, and then we had like this whole like.
Oh yeah, we had the Jeep talk.
Then we went. Both of us were like, we went backwards on what we wanted in where we were in life.
Yeah, because where I was Fuzzy Wuzzy was a bear. Fuzzy Wuzzy had no hair, and I remember riding my bike and going like, oh man, I don't know if I should date her, because I had just like stopped dating. And I wasn't going to date for a long time. Or for a period of time.
Yeah. And I too had made that decision that I was going to focus on God and on my school, and I wasn't going to focus on boys and marriage and all that stuff, which is what was distracting me for a long time. And so I was like, okay, I'm just gonna focus on me. And then you asked me to the movies, and I was like, yes. And then so then afterwards, I was like, dang, I didn't want to say yes. Like,
I didn't
that's
even
not
think
what
I
that's
even
not
wanted
what-
to ask you.
Yeah,
It just came
that's
out,
what
and I
came
was like,
out. Yeah.
I was like, dang it, I should not have said it. But I think at the time I just stuck with it.
Mm-hmm.
I just rolled with it, and then I went back and I said, I do have to tell her that I'm not dating. I definitely have to tell her that because I really wanted to stick to that because previously I hadn't stuck to anything like that, you know? And so it was like basically fasting from girls. And I remember I was riding my bike, then we came back, we went somewhere, and then we ended up talking in my Jeep because my Jeep was already parked there.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it was the same night or if
Oh,
it
no,
was a
it was
few
different.
days later.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
another
some time.
day that we had
I
hung
don't-
out, and then we came back. We'd probably all like carpooled somewhere and then came back.
Yeah.
And I don't think maybe I wasn't driving at that time, so you were driving me home, or
Was I
maybe
driving?
we just came back and we just started talking in your Jeep, and then we just
Yeah,
went
because
into
we
the
didn't
whole
go
thing.
anywhere. Because
Yeah,
in my head, I was like, "Don't go anywhere," because we'll just end
it
up.
could have just been after work. We could have just
Yeah,
went
we
to
were-
your car after work and
That's
started.
what I think
yeah,
happened. I
and
think it was after work.
yeah, it's just in the parking lot we were talking
Yeah.
Yeah.
Forever.
forever. Like, yeah, it's really late when we left.
Was it dark?
It was like in the morning. I think it was like 1 or 2. I think
No way.
I think so.
In that dark
Mm.
parking lot?
Mhm.
What the heck was I thinking? That's not what I wanted to do. Are you serious? 1 o'clock. I don't remember.
Maybe
we talked for a long time.
It was
but
a long
1
time.
o'clock? Whatever.
Didn't a police car come by and say, "What are you guys doing?"
Maybe.
I think so. I think it was
Wow.
definitely after dark. It was definitely after the park was
What would
closed.
possess us to do that?
We were just talking. We were just into whatever we were
You know how
talking
many
about.
gang members like hang out over there? Like it's a gang infested. Yeah, we talked and in the conversation we just basically said everything that we wanted to. Really,
Yeah,
honestly,
it
Like,
worked out
we were-
really nicely because we were
Yeah.
both on the same page,
Totally.
but we were both afraid that the other person wasn't on the same page. So it was
Yeah.
cool to be able to, and I knew at that stage in my life I was not, I didn't speak up for myself, and I knew that if you wanted to pursue the relationship, I would have just gone along with it because that was just who I was at that time, and so I really was relieved when you were saying it because it was like I knew I wasn't going to say it,
Yeah.
but then that gave me permission to be like, okay, me too, you know.
Yeah.
And so it worked out really nice because we
Yeah.
were both on the same page.
Yeah, and I think too, like it was such a weird time because, so partly too in my head also, I didn't want to date, I wanted to date a black girl,
Mm-hmm.
and so because I was just like, yeah, growing up black, I mean my family didn't necessarily like say it was mandatory, but they were kind of like, hey, you should do that, like a nudge, you know what I'm saying? It's just easier, I guess they were saying, because of what we're dealing with today. So yeah, every generation deals with it, racism, but we're dealing with it majorly right now in 2020. It's crazy.
Great.
crazy. And I think because
So
of the
silly.
social medias and stuff like that, we're just seeing a lot of it. We're seeing a lot more of it.
Yeah.
But as far as us meeting, I do think that it was definitely organic, but not organic. You know, essentially because, I mean, because we still hung out hardcore, but we were always hanging out though.
Mm-hmm.
Like as a group.
Yeah,
Like
as a
a group, we were hanging out anyway.
Yeah.
That's just what single people do, or couples that when you don't have kids, that's all you do is hang out. in a different way. You know what I mean? Like you're going out, hanging out late a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember, yeah, we definitely, because we went to the movies.
Or in the movie, we made it a group thing. So we just invited a bunch of people.
Yeah.
Brought your little cousin, your 10-year-old cousin at the time.
Yeah.
And so we still went, but we just made it a group thing. And then, yeah. And
it was a group coworker. It ended up to be a group coworker thing too.
Yeah, we just invited all our coworkers.
Yeah.
It just all went to the movies, which was totally not out of the ordinary because as coworkers, we did that all the time.
I was gonna say I miss those days. What I think I like about those days where the coworkers that we had, we had an annual camping trip, which was pretty dope.
Yeah.
I don't think I missed any of the camping trips. I don't think I did. And we did like it was a calendar. It was on calendar.
We had scavenger hunts. Movie
Dude,
nights, and we were rec leaders, so
we
we rec leadered ourselves too.
We rec leaded ourselves. We definitely rec leaded ourselves. We like had schedules and a leader for this, and this person was bringing this person was bringing snacks. That was, and we're still that way too.
Yeah,
we had kids, and now we're rec leaders for our kids.
For our whole Augustine adventures.
Yay! So that's that. This is over. We're done. That's
not quite.
Not quite.
Well, that's how we met. But
that's how we met.
That's not the end of how we got together.
Yeah, getting together was challenging because we flirted so much.
Yeah.
And I always had one foot in, one foot out. And most guys do. Most guys do, ladies. So you guys know, most guys do. So be looking for those red flags. And confront those red flags if you want to. I would confront them. You know what I'm saying? That would be my 2 cents for girls, women. Like if you think it's going one way and then like you see a red flag, confront that person, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
You can do whatever you want, but definitely, because then we just did everything with the rec leader group, and then everything with your Christian college campus group or whatever.
Yep.
Because I figured in my head, I was thinking, oh, okay, well, if I want to hang out with her, this is where I have to meet her. I have to go where she goes, and so that's what I did.
Yeah.
And then for me, I don't remember. Was I going to church did I even go to church at the time? I was and I wasn't.
Yeah.
I don't think I was. I kind of went just with your church because
you came with me.
Again, I was in this limbo state where I wasn't really digging church, and at least the church that I was going to, I wasn't really into it anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we just hung out
and for me, like for sure we flirted, but like for me that was not weird for me because I was a flirt. I enjoyed flirting, and I remember like all the rec leaders would call us boyfriend and girlfriend, and we'd be like, no, we're just friends, you know. And I think like on my side, at least at that point, like I definitely liked you. But I wasn't going to make the first move anyway, so it was just like, well, we're just in this limbo. Like, we're just going to keep going until he makes his first move, if he's going to make it or not, you know. But, so, I mean, I think on my side, like, I don't think I was invested. Like, there was part of I think I was, too, in the same way of, like, if he wants to invest, I'm ready. But if he's not, like, I'm going to protect myself too. So like, I wasn't like all the way in, but then at the same time, I wasn't, just not all the way out either. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Gee, and then there was a period of time, fast forwarding. I worked for the city of Santa Clara as well. I think I did both. At the same time, and I did more of Santa Clara hangout, teen center, I didn't really hang out with those guys. We did hang out because it was the same thing with them.
Yeah.
They didn't really do that much though. We were definitely like organized rec leaders for sure. They just wanted, I guess, they wanted to like smoke pot and watch TV pretty much. And I was like, all right, that's not. But we had parties. We had parties at Brandon's house a lot. I feel like,
Yeah.
his house is really big. For the most part, that living room was pretty solid.
Yeah.
But we then was it after Santa Clara? Did we get together? Or after when I moved out, did we get together? Were you with me? Were we together when I moved out? We were together, right? Yeah, we were together at that time.
I mean, there wasn't really like a starting point because it just kind of happened more and more, but it definitely started more and more because you had your own place. So we would spend more time over there. And so by ourselves, like alone, because everywhere else we were always with people, or at my mom's house or your mom's house. And so then when you moved out and had your own place, then we would spend time there. So that's when things started progressing.
Yeah.
In
and
as
we were together
just
for like a year, you would say?
Yeah, around there.
Because I was only there for a year.
Yeah.
I wasn't there for a year and a few months because we had gotten, for some reason, I feel like, was I working? I wasn't working, huh?
You were working. I mean,
I was
for
working
some
part-time.
of it, because I would pick you up. I was driving from Mountain View to Campbell to pick you up back to Mountain
Dang.
View, and then I drive you home.
I was using her for her car.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
And
She's all, I knew it.
I did, yeah, but I was okay with it. That's just my personality. I was gonna help you out.
Yeah. Wow.
So and then like I would like stay there till morning, like 1, 2, and I drive home and I go to sleep and then I wake up and come back and pick you up. And then finally I just
spend the night.
Yeah, I just started spending the night because we were like, this is silly. It's a lot of driving.
And then I was like, just move in. I mean, I felt empowered. Like that was my first place.
Yeah.
My first, and yeah. Then we broke up, and then we were youth leaders for the longest time.
Yeah. We broke up but went to the same church. So
we still saw each other.
Still and then became youth leaders independently of each other, but then it was the same youth, like we went through the little training, and at the end they ask you the summit, and they ask you how you want, if there's a place you feel led to serve, and we both said youth leaders, and so then we had our youth leader meeting, and look, there's Marco, there's Tamara, like, here we are again. So we were youth
in
leaders
bar.
for like karaoke bar.
In a karaoke bar.
For like 5 years, I think.
Yeah.
Between the time that we broke up and the time that we got back together, it was 5 years.
And I was actually still at Santa Clara, working for the city of Santa Clara, I remember. Because I remember going to the beach with somebody. I brought somebody to the beach from Santa Clara. But it was a Mountain View beach bonfire thing. Because I remember Marco was there.
When it was at the gangsters tried to come up, and because we were wearing so much red, we didn't realize our cooler was red. Everybody had red sweatshirts.
I was like, "Are you serious right now?"
Yeah, that was pretty crazy. I don't remember who you brought, but
I don't remember. I forgot her name. Lucy. No, I don't think her name was Lucy. I don't know. I don't remember.
She wasn't important.
Obviously, she wasn't important. Obviously. Oh, man. That's funny. That's hilarious. And then, we just did youth group together.
For a long time, yeah.
Until, I mean, lots have happened, but we're not going to talk about that right now.
We would be here all night.
But that's for another podcast. We got to save some for You know,
Right, right. This is the overview,
this is the overview. Yeah, this is the overview. And then we got married.
right?
Fast forward. I mean, we're just jumping through
Yeah.
the major parts.
Once
We got
once
married.
we got back together, it was like, okay, we're getting married, and so
Yeah,
everything kind of went towards that. And
yeah.
got married.
Had kids,
Mhm.
and now we're sitting here,
And here we are.
and here we are. Awesome. And I think that so so that's like the nutshell of the story, and then really the when I got married, when we got married, I went through a interesting time because the first year was just complete garbage to me because I was like, what did I just do? You know, like what the heck am I doing? Um, I wasn't. I am a man of. I am a man that doesn't like titles. I don't like titles at all. I don't like. I don't like the popular structure. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
it the reason why I don't like it is probably because I don't I didn't wasn't raised by my parents. You know what I'm saying? I was raised by family members, but they weren't like my parents were out doing God knows what they were doing. You know what I'm saying? And so I didn't really like when you're an orphan, but not an orphan. You have a different mentality. You don't.
Mhm.
It's hard to stick to something. You know what I mean? So I didn't. I honestly didn't think there was a part of me that didn't even part of me. I didn't think that I was able to even be a father or a husband because it didn't make any sense. Like I was like, I'll probably just bounce. I'd probably just be like, all right, cool, Doug. See y'all later.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and never come back. You know, or something. You know, and so it's it was interesting the first year, the first 2 years, and then I think that it got worse, and then it got better because I said like there's I love this person, so you know what I mean. I got to find that again somehow,
Mhm.
you know. And if I can't, then we just won't be together. But I found it, so we're still here. But it really took me doing like real work,
Yeah.
like for real, for real. Like I went on.
Mhm.
My first thing was I went on YouTube, and I don't remember what I typed in, but I ended up for years researching social dynamics,
Mhm.
and which was good and bad. Bad because a lot of the social dynamics are really just talking about they focus more on pickup versus like a marriage per se. They do talk about relationships, but they don't talk about marriage,
Mhm.
right? And so I was a little bit wanting to hear a lot more about wanting to hear more about marriage, but what I found was they would shoot out like these different books that were helping them to be a better person because more so of the social dynamics of pickup, it was actually more of how can you be the best man, right? What is it that what is your responsibilities as a man? If you're looking to do this type of relationship, then what are those responsibilities? And so one of those things is I always brag on it. The book is how what is it? The way of the superior man.
Yeah.
And that that just changed my life because there was practical things that for how where I was in the period of time and just what I was looking for. I was like, okay, I can do this, you know, practical things because one of the things I wanted to accomplish was how do I not get mad when you get mad? That was one of my big things. It's like
Mhm.
we both can't
Yeah.
be mad.
Yeah.
Like somebody has to be somebody has to be if we're going to do this somebody has to be like the person who the middle person. We didn't have a
Stays
middle
calm.
person. The what?
Stays calm.
That stays calm. Yeah. And so,
Level-headed.
yeah. It, and we didn't have blow up
No, we're not.
like
Every now and then, but we're not.
rare.
We're just. When I
Yeah.
get mad, I shut down. So
Yeah.
I don't do much talking. So we don't do much yelling.
No. No. But it was, yeah. It's actually hard to go back there only because it's like I don't remember a lot. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
because it was such a crazy time because I was working at a new job and it was like my own business and I didn't know how to run that business.
Mm-hmm.
But I was also working for somebody else at the same time. But it was my business. It was challenging, and it was working with multiple HOAs, and so we had multiple different types of personalities going in there.
Yeah, it's a rough job for
That
sure.
was rough. That was the worst time of my life. Honestly, that was the worst time of my entire life. Would I do it again? Yes. Because I learned a lot. You know what I mean? I didn't know how to manage stress. I didn't even know there was such a thing as managing stress. I think that there is now a way to manage stress.
Yeah.
And I also think that you can't get rid of stress, but you can get rid of like certain types of stresses. Like if you're hungry and you're hangry and we're driving, I'm good. I'm not going to get mad because I have a rule. I don't know if I ever told you this rule, but my rule is not to get angry behind the wheel. Right? So like that TV show we were just watching,
Yeah,
I used to, but I don't today. I won't get mad. I won't. If I do get mad, check me because it could happen. It could happen. I can forget. But yeah, there was that challenging time where we didn't speak. I don't think we spoke a lot during that time at all.
Yeah, no.
I was like, in my head, I was like, I'm just gonna how do I leave? You know, how do I leave this situation? And I was like, well, I have kids, so I'm not gonna just leave because I'm not gonna do that. And then I'm not gonna leave her. That's like kind of messed up. You know what I mean? I saw my mom be a single mom, and so I was like, well, I don't really want that for you. And so I was like, how do I really? Because if I was gonna make it work, I couldn't be like, well, I'm gonna stay for the kids. Nah, don't. Well, I don't want to say don't do that. I didn't want to do that. I'm not trying to be like, oh yeah, just for the kids.
Right.
And then I hate you, but then I love them. But then I'm supposed to act like I like you in front of them, like that, and be fake. Like they're gonna see that and I have two girls. There's no way. There's no way. There is no way that if you know our daughter, there's no way both daughters, if they wouldn't let me do that. They'd be like, so Dad, do you love mommy? Yes or no? No. Yeah. And here we are, 4 kids, which is pretty cool. We are homeschoolers. We homeschool our children, all 4 of them. We are not religious, but I would say we're spiritual. We are spiritual beings. We can't get away from that. Is what it is. We have the range from 10 all the way to
9 to almost 2.
9.
Yeah.
Why do I always think she's 10?
She's gonna be 10 in November.
Oh my gosh, she's gonna be 10.
Yeah.
It's coming up. Yeah. And then our littlest one will be 2 in July. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that should be cool.
Yeah.
It'll be a fun time.
They're fun. They keep us busy.
Yes.
For sure.
Yeah. And with the podcast and the way we do it, this is nighttime, so they're sleeping. They could get up at any point in time, which is totally fine. But this is how we do this. This is I usually like when it comes to the radio portion or the podcast portion, is done on my phone, and the studio is the car, so it works out really well.
Mhm.
And then I got this new little setup thing going on with the mics and everything. You got the pink one over there, and I got the black one over here. And yeah, let's see. Let's check our notes. Let's see what's going on with our notes here. Look at that. I erased everything. I don't know why I keep doing that.
No,
That
there's.
is so weird.
You just started a new one.
I just started a new one?
Yeah.
Cool, yeah. I've already went through all my notes.
Cool.
What is this, though? What is this? B4? Oh, yeah. Those are the rules, and I forgot to go over the rules. The rules are this. Going forward, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing... This is Trey Show 9. So Trey Show 9 is the relationship experience show, and with the number 9.
Mhm.
The number 9 signifies our last name. There's 9 letters in our last name. 9 is also my birth number. So it's 5, so it's 1. I don't know what yours is yet, actually.
I haven't looked those up.
So we just went with 9. 9 is also our first daughter. Her life was 9 hours. And that's another story there. Our first daughter was 22 weeks. 24. You went in 22?
I went in 22.
You went in 22 and then 24.
Into the hospital at 22 weeks and then went into labor at 24 weeks.
Yeah. And so that was a challenging time. Yeah, that was crazy. That was
Didn't
crazy.
think I would ever have to. Didn't think if something like that ever happened to me, I didn't think I would make it through it.
Yeah.
It was
You
rough.
did.
We did.
You did. You
Yeah.
made it. You made
Yeah.
it.
Still hurts though. It's still there.
Yeah.
Never really goes away.
That's wild. When you think about like death, I think death for me, what it's doing is or at least what the choice that I'm choosing at the time. Everybody's different. Is I'm choosing to ignite something in me, and so I use the energy kind of like a superhero, and like that transformer, not the transformer, but what's that? Not the governor. What's that? Terminator, and that silver thing. Every time you would shoot him, the silver bullets or any energy or anything that's like those superheroes that absorb things. That's how I feel.
Mm-hmm.
So I absorb the death and experience it at its fullest. So I go, I'll go deep into in a depression. Like I'll go low, just real quick, just low. But I let it give me power, and that's what I did with Honora's death.
Mm.
Like I let it give me power, and that power was I would not. I don't know why I'm laughing, but I wouldn't shut up.
Mm.
Like I would do this. I would speak.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? And I would speak, and I'd be passionate about my speaking, and I wouldn't, and I would love hard, like and well, you know.
Mm.
If that makes any sense to you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. And those times, that challenged our relationship.
Sure.
Because I mean, the couple days, like you just laid in the bed, and then I was just like walking around, like I don't know what to do. Should I leave? Should I stay? I don't know. There was times where you would be in the bedroom, and I'd just be watching TV, and then I started drinking a lot more. I think I drank a lot. I didn't drink like crazy, but I did drink more than
Than usual.
than I should have.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm not a drinker. That's the thing is I don't really actually like it, honestly. I like the idea,
Mm-hmm.
like sipping and like it's cool, but I'm not big like I may act like that, but I'll have one beer and like I'm cool. I'm good. I will never drink. It'll be warm by the time I
Finish it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's our relationship in a nutshell. Anything else?
That's all I can think of.
Yeah. So now our relationship is very different.
For sure.
Very, very different. We did something scary and said, let's just be open in our communication. How do we be open in our communication? And so that was very hard for me because normally you get in relationships and it's like it can be fake.
Yeah.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's more like a jail sentence. And I want to show you this little clip of one of not my favorite movie, but this is definitely a very interesting movie that I like. Let's see here. Let's see if I can do this. Ha ha ha. Oh no. I don't know if you guys can hear that. I hope so. Hold on. Dang it. We'll see how this goes. So it's interesting. She says, "I'm not your wife. I'm your wife, not your jailer." I don't know if I spelled that right, but you get the point.
That's right.
And
I think.
who knows? All right, somebody I'm sure will see this in the future and correct me. Thank you for correcting me. I appreciate that. And I thought that line was really interesting because she's saying we're not in a relationship that we're not in a owner relationship. So we are not in a owner relationship. Um, we are in a more of an inclusive relationship, or we're in a whole relationship is what we call it. So 100% over here, and then 100% over here, and then we share those things, and then obviously we have certain things in common, and then a major thing we have in common is our children. But individually, there's certain things we like veganism. We're also vegan, so we like the same foods, right? Um, and we both like coffee, and coffee's good. If you like coffee, then you could be a friend. um, but that's the style of relationship that we have evolved into.
Mhm.
And I don't think that it's evolved into that because of just the amount of time we were together. Um, I think that this was a natural move. This was supposed to happen. You know, um, it should have happened a long time ago, but my head was in my ass, and you know, yeah. So that's that. And what we're going to be doing on these podcasts is we're going to be just talking about these situations, and then giving tips and tricks. Did we switch sides?
Yeah, we did. I don't know how.
How did that happen? What the heck? Now we're on the right side. I like that. That's cool. Not really sure how. We're just learning. We're just learning this thing here.
Yep.
So bear with us. But what we're going to be doing is sharing the tips and tricks as we go along, and just our relationship, and we'll go from there. That's nothing new. This is our platform, so we get to do whatever we want to do on this platform, and we will be doing whatever we want to do on this platform. And because we're going to be using Zoom, the reason why is so that we can bring in guests, and we can also bring in like a crowd of people that want to join in. If there's a discussion or something like that we want to talk about, then we can do that on there like that. And so yeah, I like that better. You look better on over there, on that side. You looked good on this side as well too.
Of course.
Someone's gonna like ream me for that one. I know. If anybody watched it, we could be the only ones watching this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Who knows? Yeah. So we're gonna be going live on YouTube, and we'll also be posting these on YouTube. But then we're going to break this down and take the audio, and then we'll put that onto Apple Music and stuff like that. So it should be pretty fun. I hope you enjoy the journey. I hope you enjoy just whatever we have to offer. We'll be talking about some of the things like homeschooling in there too. We'll talk about parenting in there as well. Definitely talk about parenting. We will be talking about sex. So you must be an adult, 18 or over, to watch this. And if you have anything negative to say, very good. Say it on your platform. Say that shit on your YouTube, right? And then we'll just be on multiple YouTubes. You know what I'm saying? If that's what the haters don't understand, they're like, "Well, let's talk about this." Like, cool. Put me on, man. Judge me. All right, we're gonna wrap it up. She's yawning. She's done.
Sorry, excuse me.
We start our mornings at what time in the morning? Do we start our mornings? 6 o'clock in the a.m. with
the
a
dot.
little
6 o'clock.
little man. He
the
wakes
dot.
up and
Mommy, I want toast.
I'm hungry. We love you guys. Peace, be the best, and fuck the rest.